All right, let's get right into it. We all have to deal with conflict, right? But what if? What if we've been looking at it completely backwards? Today, we're going to talk about a really powerful shift in thinking. How to see every single disagreement, not as a battle you have to win, but as a personal training ground, a dojo for achieving total awareness.
You know exactly the one I'm talking about. That argument that just goes around and around and around in circles. You make your point, they make their point, and you both end up exactly where you started, just more frustrated. It feels completely unwinnable, almost like you're both playing a different game with a different set of rules.
And at the absolute core of these fights is the blame game. Each person is 100% certain that the other person started it. It's this exhausting back and forth, a total deadlock, where both people feel like they're the victim who's just reacting to the other person's attack. But here's the question. What if neither of you is right?
Here's the big reveal. The fight is almost never really about the late delivery or the unreasonable request. The real conflict is happening on a much deeper level. It's a clash of perceptions. It's a struggle over how each person is seeing and assigning meaning to the exact same series of events.
You see, conflict doesn't actually start when something happens. It starts the second we assign meaning to it. Think about it. Your boss walks past your desk, doesn't say hello. Now, is she angry with you, or is she just incredibly busy and distracted? The story you tell yourself in that instant, that's perception, and that story immediately becomes your reality.
And this is precisely why two people can go through the exact same moment and have completely different experiences. We each have our own unique lens. It's shaped by our past, our values, even our mood that day. And through this lens, we see ourselves as being reasonable, our actions as justified, while we see the other person's actions in the worst possible light. Which brings us to this incredible concept called punctuation. And no, it's not about commas and periods. It's that mental start point we pin on a conflict. We punctuate the timeline of events to build a story where we are simply reacting to something they did. The problem, of course, they are doing the exact same thing, just putting their punctuation mark somewhere else on the timeline.
So let's make this real. Look at Pete and Ellen. Pete is convinced the conflict started right here, at point 3, when Ellen started nagging him for a resource list. In his story, she's the aggressor. But Ellen? She punctuates the conflict way back at point 2, when Pete didn't deliver the design on time. In her story, he's the one who broke the chain. But the truth? The real origin point was way back at point 1, a badly defined process that basically set them both up to fail. They're stuck fighting each other over the wrong problem.
So, how in the world do we break out of this cycle? Well, we have to shift from broadcasting our own perspective to actively hunting for theirs. And the key is to turn listening from this passive thing we do while waiting for our turn to speak into a powerful, active martial art. This, right here, is where the real training begins.
And the foundational skill for this is something called tactical empathy. It's tactical because it's a conscious skill you use to bring the temperature down. It is the disciplined act of vocalizing their reality back to them, not to agree with it, but simply to show that you are hearing it. This one simple act can completely disarm someone's defensiveness and make them feel truly heard.
Now, one of the easiest and frankly most effective ways to practice this is a technique called mirroring. So if someone says, "I'm just completely overwhelmed by this workload," you simply repeat back with a slightly questioning tone, "This workload?" It almost works like a Jedi mind trick. It prompts them to keep talking, to go deeper, and explain their perspective, all without you having to ask a single direct question.
And the real intention, the genuine spirit behind a mirror, should always be this phrase. You're not just mimicking them like a parrot. It's a tool that's driven by pure curiosity. When you repeat their words, you are non-verbally saying, "I hear you, and I want to hear more. Please help me understand."
Okay, now let's shift gears. Imagine you're the leader in this situation with Pete and Ellen. Your job isn't to be a judge and decide who was right. No, your job is to get both of them to stop pointing fingers at each other and start pointing at the broken process that created the whole mess.
A really effective leader can de-escalate by saying something like, "Okay, it sounds like you two saw the starting point of this problem differently. Let's walk back the chain of events together and see if we can find where things actually got tangled." See what that does? By focusing on the sequence instead of the blame, you guide them out of their personal fight and get them working together on a solution that fixes the real root cause.
And look, whether you're a leader trying to mediate or you're just trying to express your own point of view without starting World War III, there is an incredible formula you can use. It's called Gottman's XYZ formula.
So instead of an accusation like, "You're always late," you say, "When we have our morning meeting, that's X, and you arrive 10 minutes late, that's Y, I feel disrespected, that's Z." It's not an attack, it's just a clean, clear report of your reality.
You know, when you zoom out, all of this leads to a prize that is so much bigger than just winning one argument. These techniques, they're like training wheels. They're helping you develop a state of total awareness, the ability to see the entire battlefield from every possible angle, all at once.
And this is not some new idea. Over 2,000 years ago, Sun Tzu understood that victory doesn't come from just being stronger. It comes from being more adaptable. True mastery is about understanding your opponent's perspective so deeply that you can shift your own approach and make theirs totally ineffective.
And that right there brings us to the ultimate takeaway. This is the mindset of a true master. Every conversation, every disagreement, every difficult person, they are all opportunities. They become your training partners. By working to see their perspective, you are training your own perception, expanding your awareness until you can see the entire battlefield. And when you can do that, you can never be truly beaten because you can never be surprised.
So I'll leave you with this question. Because let's be honest, another conflict is always just around the corner. The only thing you truly have control over is how you decide to see it. Is it going to be just another frustrating fight that you can't seem to win? Or is it your next session in the dojo? The choice is all yours.